What is up, YouTube? I'm coming to you today with a bit of a different video than I would normally come to you with. Instead of playing games, I'm going to try and start doing different things. Like maybe I'm going to do a review like I'm doing today of Mushoku Tensei. Or Tensei, however you want to pronounce it, or whatever. Or I might just try something else. You know, I'm not the best at gaming, and I don't exactly have the best commentary, but I want to try and maybe branch out and see what I'm comfortable with doing and posting on the internet. So, I'm kind of a harsh critic of Mushoku Tensei because I'm just gonna call it Jobless, but there's many reasons for this. I originally, at first, before I stopped watching, I got to about episode 12, 13-ish, and I really did not like it. Like I said, there's many reasons for that, but that's what this series is. That's what this soon-to-be series is meant to be for. I'm going to be rewatching episodes in small batches. Like, I'm not going to do a one-to-one, you know. I'm going to do, like, 3-4 episodes, or if there's just a lot to talk about for each, like, for a single episode, then I'm going to do one single episode. But typically, I'm going to try and do one video for 3 to 4 episodes and just go through the, like 48 that Crunchyroll has. There's the reason for this is because I keep seeing a lot of people glazing the hell out of the entire first season of this anime, and I want to take this anime because I was recommended it, and I didn't only get uncomfortable, but I was actually actively upset that a friend recommended me to watch that just because of how Rudius is. But I'm going to try and go into it with like a clean slate. I mean, I can't overlook many of the just massive character flaws, but everyone who watches it seems to think that he just has a complete overhaul of his character by the end of the series. So I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to give my honest opinion. So first off, overview of this anime is pretty much this guy named Rudy was heavily bullied in his past. He was stripped and tied to a fence and had pictures taken of him and many other things. Rudius is the main character of the anime. So he's in his, I want to say he's in his 30s if I'm not mistaken, and he was a shut-in for like 20. He's in his 30s for 40s, and he was like a shut-in for like 20 years because of how excessive his bullying was. He eventually developed a sexual liking to lollies, at least in a short novel, but there's like some kind of like discussion on it being removed despite there being pictures of the short novel. And even then, like they even included it in episode 2 where he skipped out on his parents' funeral to watch uncensored corn of lollies. Try not to activate too many trigger words and get this immediately taken down like before it can even get any footing. So then these guys broke into his house. Well, I say broke in, they kind of just opened the door. Barged into his room, beat him, looked at his screen, called him a degenerate, and then threw him out into the streets. He eventually walks down the street and saves this girl from getting hit by a truck. And what happens is he gets reincarnated into another world as a newborn. But because of how these isekais work, he still had the mind of a shut-in pervert that is probably in his late 30s, 40s. First couple years go by fairly quickly of his growing up. It kind of goes from him not being able to walk. In the same episode, it goes to him being able to walk around and even talk a bit. First 2 episodes, before he even knew he was reincarnated, he immediately goes in, well, if you're just gonna kind of just stand there, and he went to go grope his own mother, unprovoked, Didn't even know he was reborn until he seen his hands after he went to go get a handful. As he got older, he never changed. I say never changed, but when I say older, he's like 3, 2-ish. He's crawling around, and he's grabbing he's grabbing and keeping the maid's panties. Extremely perverted. He eventually finds magic books, figures out that the magic books were wrong, and he kind of figures out how magic works really quickly. So, casting a spell, he blows the front of the house apart. Parents figure it out, and they get him a tutor, which is a girl named Roxy. Immediately starts perving out on her too. Like, she's sitting in front of him reading a book, and he's just blatantly looking up her skirt. So in episode 3, he tries to take a bath with his new friend Sylph. Now, I'm sure with this one, there's no ill thoughts, even with how exceptionally creepy it is for him to be undressing another child with the mind of a 40-year-old man. Could have caught a cold. That was his excuse for it. Forced Sylph to get undressed, and that's how he figured out Sylph was a female. Sylph was a girl, a little girl. So, with all of this, I'm not really pointing out too many of the good things, because that's not what this review is meant to be for. Yes, later down the line, I will start to point out what, like, good features there were. Like, but he doesn't develop that much as a character, despite what all the glazers want to say. But I'm going to keep making these reviews to point out particularly the flaws, because my opinion as of this moment, people saying that the reason they watch it is because of the great character the great character development, and I want to say that that's like throwing glitter on horse shit. You know, at the end of the day, it's still horse shit, but now it's sparkly. So, with that, I'm going to continue watching these, continue making these notes. Like, I've got these notes that I've got pulled up on my other monitor here. And I'm going to write notes as the series goes on. If I do notice that he changes, I'm not going to leave that out. Hell, I'll put what episode and a timestamp of when he starts to actually develop past these thoughts. Because everyone says it's about the character development, so I want to see if the character development is in the room with us now. Okay, well, having said that, I know I probably said a lot of the same thing over and over again. So having said that, I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to probably release several of these, doing 2-3 episodes at a time. Alright, well, peace.